Here's more brutal news Donald Trump doesn't want to hear. This time, well, it comes from deep in the heart of Texas, and it could be the worst news for Trump's faltering campaign this week, because as we all know, Texas is historically a big red state. We also know it is home to Senator Ted Cruz, who's running for re-election in that state, a state that has long embraced him for the selfless public servant that he's distinguished himself to be over his many years of service.
While hundreds of thousands of Texans are at home without power or water, and millions endure another day in the historic freeze, their Senator Ted Cruz hopped a jet to Mexico. He took his kids to Cancun, and the internet almost immediately exploded.
So as the Cruz family and their friends poured over the border into Mexico, well, I suppose little did they think that those happy-go-lucky days might somehow come to an end one day. Well, we've got news for Senator Cruz and his lion-hearted leader, Donald Trump, because based upon this recent poll from KHOU, that day is more likely to be November 5th than maybe it was a month ago. And we not only have that poll, but a stunning breakdown of what it means for fled Cruz, Donald Trump, and the rest of the GOP's election hopes should Kamala Harris hold him in Texas. You know, I'm thinking, after seeing this great story that we have coming up, Ted Cruz and his son-loving incubus incarnate commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, they might want to just book a joint family winter vacation together. The Trumps and the Cruzes after November 5th to Ted's favorite getaway. Okay, let's dive into this new poll from KHOU 11. It may well have Trump and Cruz calling their travel agents. Let's have a look.
Turning to the upcoming election, and this morning we are getting a better idea of how Texans will be voting in November.
The University of Houston's Hobby School and Texas Southern University's Jordan Leland School released their latest Texas Trends survey. It broke down the likely vote count for each presidential nominee, with former President Trump being favored by 49.5% of those surveyed. According to the survey, Vice President Harris would get 44.6% of the Texas vote.
And while it may be hard to imagine Texas turning blue in November, let's do it anyway as we check out our featured report together from Politicus USA. What would happen if Kamala Harris were to win Texas? Well, it would mean Republicans suffered the largest landslide defeat since 1996. It would mean that the Democrats have full control of the federal government, and Senator Ted Cruz would lose his seat. It would probably also signal a huge night for Democrats in state and local elections nationwide. While this is the least likely scenario, the odds are high Trump won't lose Texas, but keeping Texas close would be a massive headache for the Republican Party. A close presidential race would mean a close Senate race. Ted Cruz has been living on the edge for years in Texas. Cruz leads Colin Allred 46-44, which means he could lose if he can't count on Trump to push him across the finish line. Cruz is not popular and usually runs behind other Republicans in the state. So if Harris keeps Trump's margin down, it could flip a Senate seat to the Democrats. The big thing that Harris, keeping Texas competitive, does is that it would force Republicans to spend money that should be spent in swing states on Texas. Trump already has less money in organization than Harris, but every dollar Trump and his allies have to spend defending Texas and North Carolina is a dollar that won't be spent in Pennsylvania and Michigan. Texas Republicans have been worried about the changing demographics of their state, so they've taken steps to try to protect the GOP by making it harder to vote. But as has been demonstrated in Georgia, if people want to vote, they will find a way. Kamala Harris probably won't flip Texas, but keeping it close could be good enough for Democrats in 2024. Perchance to dream, Texas turning blue, well, that would not just lock the election, but in doing so, would lock the future for the country. That would mean less of this.
Chosen one, I'm the living proof with the gift to gab from the city of truth. You know I jab, stab, and not critics back.
And more of this.
That our flag was still